Catholic leaders in western South Dakota have vocally rejected the decision by Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, to allow the Medals of Honor awarded for the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre to remain in place. Their opposition is anchored not only in historical fact but also in their moral and religious commitments. What happened? On December 29, 1890, U.S. Army soldiers of the 7th Cavalry killed between 150 and 300 Lakota men, women, and children near Wounded Knee Creek in South Dakota. In September 2025, Hegseth announced that the soldiers who had received the Medal of Honor for their participation would continue to hold the medals. He justified the decision by citing a review panel's recommendation and characterized critics as favoring political correctness rather than historical accuracy. Catholic leaders' criticism. Scott Bullock, Bishop of the Diocese of Rapid City, along with the De Smet Jesuit community, issued a joint statement emphasizing that this was not a battle, but a massacre, and that awarding or preserving medals for it distorts history itself. They insisted their argument is not about political correctness, but rather prayerful correctness, grounded in truth, conscience, and compassion. The Catholic statement also affirmed that every human life bears infinite dignity, victims and perpetrators alike, but that the acts themselves were grave evils and cannot be honored. Key moral points raised. Recognition of victims. The leaders named the Lakota who died that day as sacred, urging remembrance, respect and truth. Opposition to glorifying violence. They expressed concern the decision legitimizes the violence by rewarding participation, saying the medals honor acts of violence rather than serving justice. Historical accountability. The statement asserted that denying or sanitizing the past deepens injustice and moral blindness. Faith-grounded ethical stance. As Catholics, they invoke Jesus' example of suffering rather than violence and framed their response in the context of Christian conscience. Significance. This critique matters because it brings religious and moral weight to a debate often framed in political or historical terms. By participating, Catholic leaders align with indigenous calls for truth and reconciliation, and challenge institutions like the Pentagon to ensure that honors correspond with genuine, valorous acts, not ones rooted in atrocity. The leaders' involvement signals that for the Catholic community in that region, the decision touches not just political memory but spiritual integrity and communal reconciliation. In summary, the Catholic leadership in western South Dakota has firmly rejected the decision to retain the Medals of Honor from the Wounded Knee event on grounds that 1. The incident was a massacre, not a legitimate military engagement, 2. Honoring it with medals rewards violence and obscures the humanity of victims, and 3. Their objection is rooted in Christian ethics of truth, dignity and compassion, not mere political debate.